Hello everyone and welcome to Art Studio. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and if you are a returner, welcome back. This channel delves into the obscure, strange, and fascinating histories of the Warhammer universe. We strive to uncover and explore rarely discussed and little known histories. This channel also showcases art and miniatures. I try to update weekly and bi-weekly. Hope you enjoy the videos and please subscribe. There exists a place spoken only in whispers, a star system lost to the void, hidden in terror. Its name is Repton 4. It is home to a horror that defies understanding. No ship that ventures into its borders ever returns, swallowed by the shadows of a Xenos menace unlike any other. Across its lifeless asteroids and gas giants, something watches, something waits. Repton 4 is located in the Foundling Worlds, within the Coronis Expanse. The Foundling Worlds are a dark and enigmatic region within the Coronis Expanse, a fractured constellation of planets, moons, and lifeless rocks steeped in mystery and horror. These worlds, scattered across treacherous voids and hidden by unstable warp routes, defy understanding and beckon only the most daring or desperate of explorers. Each world is a puzzle unto itself. Some are barren and desolate, while others are teeming with alien life, so hostile and bizarre that it seems purpose-built to repel all of humanity. Massive ruins, so strange and bizarre, built with catacombs and shattered monoliths littering the surfaces, remnants of ancient Xenos empires long extinguished. Their forms often defy logic, suggesting creators whose minds operated on an inhuman principle, their motives and fates lost to time. These worlds carry a palpable sense of unease, as if the planets themselves were alive, watching and waiting. Explorers whisper of phenomena beyond comprehension. Ruins that seem to shift location. Whispered voices in airless voids, and artifacts that pulse with the malevolent energies of the warp. The warp tainted clings to many of these places. Survivors of expeditions, if there are any to return, are forever marked by what they've seen. Human settlements in the Foundling Worlds are few and far between, often remnants of failed colonization attempts, or havens for outlaws, heretics, and rogue traders fleeing imperial oversight. These hardy, superstitious souls tell tales of entire colonies vanishing overnight, of ancient forces stirring beneath the surface, and of treasures guarded by curses too terrible to ignore. The Foundling Worlds are a lure and a warning, a testament to the limits of human hubris, and a reminder that in the dark corners of the galaxy, there are secrets that should never be disturbed. Repton 4 has only ever been observed from great distances, shrouded in a fog of conjecture and limits of remote observation. To Imperial augurs and the Mechanicus, long-range surveyors, it appears as a dark, storm-weathered planet, its surface cloaked in perpetual chaos. Vast electrical storms ripple across its atmosphere, their violent energy patterns hinting at an unstable and volatile environment. The surface seems jagged and broken, with immense mountain ranges and dark fissures visible even from orbit, but no one has ever ventured close enough to confirm this planet's true geography. What little is known comes from the distorted Vox readings, brief glimpses through long-range Auspex arrays, and a desperate final transmission of doomed explorers who dared to enter this system. Theories have abounded about the true nature of Repton 4. Some believe it to be a volcanic wasteland, its surface fractured by ceaseless tectonic activity and rivers of molten rock, providing a harsh yet resource-rich environment for its Xenos inhabitants to thrive. Others suggest that the planet is a vast artificial construct, its seemingly natural features shaped and altered over millennia by Xenos to serve their needs. The towering structures that rise from its surface, visible even through interference of storms, are thought to be fortresses or cities, though their purpose and construction remain a mystery. Their strange angular forms defy human logic, and some Imperial observers whisper that they may be alive in some way, pulsing faintly with an energy that no Auspex has yet to be able to decipher. All of this, however, remains a theory. No Imperial vessel has ever entered Repton 4's orbit and returned. Every attempt to survey the planet has been met with overwhelming force, as if the very planet itself is a trap laid for the curious. This has left scholars, Magos xenologists, and rogue traders to piece together scraps of data and construct narratives that may not be any closer to the truth than there is the myth. Repton 4 is a riddle observed from afar, a world that remains unknowable, its true nature obscured by distance, defense, and fear. As stated before, much of what is known about the xenospecies of Repton 4 is built upon conjecture and fragmented theories derived from the limited studies conducted by the Magos biologists and the Magos xenologists of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Without direct communication or physical samples, these insights are speculative at best, based on observations from afar, intercepted broadcasts, and fragmented data gathered from destroyed Imperial vessels. The Mechanicus extrapolates much of their understanding from patterns in these Xenos behavior, their defensive constructs, and the strange signals that echo through the void of their system. Yet, this lack of first-hand interaction leaves enormous gaps in their knowledge. Horst and the Mechanicus draw parallels with other Xenos species and rely on their own assumptions. The true nature of the Xenos culture, biology, and motivations remain a tantalizing mystery, shrouded in as much myth as there is fact. It is a grim testament to their impractical hostility that every attempt to breach their dominion has ended in silence and ruin. Though no name has been found for these Xenos inhabitants of the system, the name used by most Imperial scholars and other void travelers for this cursed race has been the Reptons. They infest every celestial body within the SAR system. Their most distinctive feature, though, is their three-legged anatomy, which grants them remarkable stability and agility on uneven surfaces. Their leathery skin is heavily scaled, ranging in hues of green, brown, and dark orange, that provide a natural camouflage in their rocky environment. Reptons are apex predators, equipped with razor-sharp talons, a powerful jaw lined with serrated teeth, and keen predatory senses capable of detecting prey across vast distances. Their eyes, adapted for both low light and high glare conditions, suggest an evolutionary origin in harsh and variable climates. Though only studied from literally a handful of dead, decayed, and practically desiccated specimens, the Reptons are a Xenos species whose appearance is as unsettling as it is alien, defying conventional evolutionary expectations. The most distinctive feature is their three-legged anatomy, a tripod-like structure that provides them with unmatched stability and agility. Each leg is long, muscular, and ends in a clawed, talon-like foot that can grip rocky terrain or anchor them in place during combat. This unique physiology makes their movements fluid yet disconcerting, with an eerie, almost unnatural grace as they lurch and scuttle with three-legged efficiency. Their bodies are covered in thick, overlapping scales that shimmer in hues of deep green, rust red, and dark brown, maybe even orange. Colors that blend seamlessly within the rocky, barren environments of their home system. The scales appear to be both a natural armor and a form of environmental adaptation, with some reports suggesting that their compositions include trace elements of metallic ore, providing additional durability against attacks. Their torsos are barrel-shaped, with an odd, asymmetrical form to them that seems to serve some unknowable purpose, perhaps linked to internal anatomy or specialized functions. The Reptons' upper limbs are equally unsettling. Long, sinewy arms with elongated fingers that end in razor-sharp claws. These claws are thought to be tools as much as weapons, capable of rending flesh and rock with equal ease. Their heads are a nightmare of evolutionary design, featuring elongated skulls with angular, jagged crests that give them a fearsome silhouette. Their mouths are lined with rows of serrated, needle-like teeth. Their lower jaws are capable of unhinging to deliver devastating bites. Striking are their eyes, which glow faintly in low light with a cold bioluminescent intensity. The orbs are multifaceted, like those of an insect, but their gaze is undisturbingly aware. as if they see far more than they should. Reports claim their stare instills a primal unease, as though their very presence weighs on the psyche of those who encounter them. Adding to their alien terror are sensory structures scattered across their bodies, resembling a combination of quills and spines. These appendages ripple and twitch as though detecting vibration, atmospheric changes, or even the attentions of those nearby. It's unclear if these serve purely biological functions or if they have some unnatural psychic capability tied to their eerie broadcasts. Whatever the case, the Reptons appear alone would be enough to unnerve even the hardiest explorers. Their forms a twisted, grotesque reminder of how incomprehensible the galaxy's horrors can be. Though feral in appearance, the Reptons exhibit an unsettling level of intelligence, as evidenced by their ability to fortify entire celestial bodies, construct massive defensive networks, and coordinate planetary-scale military campaigns. Repton society remains largely a mystery, as no successful diplomatic or infiltration efforts have ever been made. However, their ability to dominate their entire system suggests a hive-like organization focused on the collective survival and territorial defense. They are fiercely xenophobic, perceiving all intruders as existential threats. The broadcasts emitted from the system, though untranslated, are believed to serve as a dual purpose: to warn would-be invaders and to ensnare the curious or arrogant. These broadcasts may contain hypnotic or psychological elements, as many ships that respond find themselves overwhelmed before they can even report back. The Reptons appear to worship their homeworld, Repton 4, as a sacred origin point, fortifying it with unmatched ferocity. Some xenologists speculate that the species' apparent lack of warp travel might not be from technological incapacity, but from a cultural or religious aversion to leaving their system. Despite their lack of warp travel, the Reptons are highly advanced in other fields of technology. They have mastered the art of asteroid mining and orbital construction, turning entire planets and moons into vast industrial and defensive installations. Their gas giants bristle with mining platforms and weaponized satellites, while their asteroid fields are riddled with fortified bunkers, missile silos, and automated defense turrets. Repton weaponry is crude by Imperial standards, relying on atomic missiles and primitive macro-cannon fire. However, these weapons are deployed with terrifying precision and in overwhelming quantities, often overwhelming even heavily armored ships. Additionally, the Reptons seem to possess a form of adaptive manufacturing, enabling them to rapidly replenish their war machines and ammunition. Their infrastructure is so deeply entrenched across the system that a full-scale invasion would require resources far beyond that of any rogue trader or small fleet could handle. The Reptons are relentless defenders of their territory, launching coordinated attacks against any vessel that crosses into their system. Their swarm tactics are particularly effective, as waves of smaller craft overwhelm opponents while larger asteroid-mounted cannons deliver devastating blows from long range. The Reptons show no mercy, pursuing survivors to the edge of their system and beyond. While their lack of warp travel limits their threat to their home system, the Reptons' aggressive expansion within their domain raises concerns. Should they ever discover warp technology or develop faster than light travel capabilities, their territorial aggression could spill over into neighboring systems, presenting a major threat to Imperial space. Repton broadcasts have been intercepted for millennia, yet they remain utterly indecipherable. The few who have studied them report strange psychological effects, a sense of unease, auditory hallucinations, and even episodes of madness. These broadcasts may serve as traps, luring the curious into Repton's grasp. Some theories suggest that the signals contain layered encryption or are deliberately obtuse to prevent translation, while others think that the broadcasts are a form of psychological warfare. The intercepted Repton broadcasts, indecipherable and maddening to human minds, are thought to be their primary means of long-range communication. These transmissions are characterized by a series of overlapping frequencies, strange harmonic tones, and chaotic patterns that defy Imperial linguists and logic. Some Mechanicus scholars speculate that the broadcast might contain multiple layers of meaning, possibly utilizing concepts or cognitive frameworks so alien to humanity that it's hard to understand. Others suggest that the signals may not be intended as communication at all, but as a form of psychological warfare, deliberately designed to confuse or destabilize those who intercept them. Without physical evidence, theories about the interpersonal communications range wildly. Some hypothesize that the Reptons might communicate through a combination of physical gestures, bioluminescent displays, or even pheromonal signals, giving the observed complexity of other hive-like xenospecies. The silence of the Reptons is one of their most haunting and incomprehensible traits. Despite the eerie, untranslatable broadcasts that echo through their system, they have never acknowledged or responded to any attempt at communication. This silence is not the disorganized chaos of a species incapable of speech or understanding. It is a deliberate, crushing absence of any type of engagement. Every Vox signal, pictogram, or every emissary sent into the system has been met with total annihilation. Not even a gesture or a sign of recognition from the Reptons before their foes are destroyed with utter devastation. This refusal to engage, even in hostility, has left Imperial scholars and xenologists baffled. Their silence raises unsettling questions. Do they lack the capacity for communication as humanity understands it, or do they simply see no value in acknowledging outsiders? If they do possess a language, it may be so alien that they cannot or choose not, trying to bridge the cognitive chasm between their species or any other. Their cryptic broadcasts, which many suspect are not even meant for outside ears, hint at a highly developed and structured method of communication, yet this only deepens the mystery of why they remain so deliberately silent when faced with direct contact. Other theorists suggest that this silence is a reflection of an absolute xenophobia, a manifestation of their belief that no outside entity is worth even the most basic interaction. Most think that the Reptons have long since transcended the need for diplomacy or even acknowledged any other species, viewing all outsiders as insignificant or dangerous intrusions that need to be eradicated. The most chilling theory, however, is that their silence is not a choice at all, that it is a relic of some ancient cataclysm or trauma that has fundamentally shaped their worldview. Perhaps their history is so steeped in war and betrayal that they see silence as their only safeguard, their defenses as the only necessary language. To some scholars, their silence is an act of psychological warfare. It denies their enemies the reassurance of reason, the comfort of understanding, or even the hope of any type of parley. In the absence of words or demands, those who face the Reptons are left to project their own fears and interpretations upon them, filling the void with speculation that often leads to madness. The silence of the Reptons is, in many ways, more terrifying than any kind of open hostility, as it is a soundless void of alien indifference. A chilling reminder that not all threats can be reasoned with, understood, or even truly known. It is unbroken silence that makes the Reptons not just a threat to be defeated, but a mystery that gnaws at the sanity of those who dare to seek for answers. The prospect of the Repton discovering warp technology or faster-than-light travel is a dire and chilling thought for the Imperium. Currently confined to their own system, their territorial aggression and relentless fortifications have turned their dominion into an impenetrable fortress. Should they gain the ability to leave their system, their xenophobia and militarism would undoubtedly lead to an eruption of violence across neighboring star systems. The Reptons have already demonstrated their capacity for rapid industrialization and planetary-scale defenses. With warp travel, they could expand their influences exponentially, turning ruthless swarms tactics and overwhelming firepower into a giant galactic threat. Unlike many Xenos races that expand upon opportunistically using their numbers, the Reptons' behavior suggests they would pursue an organized, systematic conquest, treating every new system as another piece of territory to fortify and dominate. Their sheer hostility towards all outsiders, combined with their adaptability, can make them nearly impossible to root out once they take hold of a new system. Worse still, the Imperium's inability to decode their broadcasts or understand their motivations means that they would be fighting an enemy whose intentions are as alien as their biology. Warp travel will give the Reptons not just reach, but the potential to spread chaos and destruction on a scale that would rival the greatest threats to the galaxy that we know. There is a growing theory amongst many in the Inquisition and other theologians that the Reptons may represent a threat even more horrific than chaos itself. While chaos is undeniably monstrous, its nature is at least partially understood. Its powers are tied to the immaterium, shaped by the emotions and desires of sentient beings. The ruinous powers have motives, however inscrutable, can be discerned. They seek domination, corruption, and the endless pursuit of feeding their own existence. The Reptons, however, stand apart. They are completely alien, not only in form and thought, but in their very purpose, which remains an utter enigma. This makes them far more terrifying as they defy every known framework of understanding. Unlike the servants of chaos, who are completely under the power of their gods, or driven by the corruption of the warp, the Reptons have shown no evidence of allegiance to any great power, warp touch or otherwise. They appear utterly self-contained, operating with a cold purpose that seems wholly divorced from the immaterium. Their broadcasts bear no sign of warp interference. Their technology lacks the corruptive signatures of chaos taint, and their aggression is driven not by whims of malevolent gods, but by something far more knowable. The Reptons are not the twisted reflection of humanity's fears and desires. They are something completely different, something that seems to exist outside the galaxy's conventional rules of existence. This lack of alignment with any known force raises disturbing questions. What drives them? What do they seek? Their utter refusal to communicate leaves no clues, and their impenetrable defenses and genocidal hostility makes it impossible to delve deeper into their nature. Some scholars fear that the Reptons may predate not only humanity, but the very foundations of the galaxy's current order, potentially emerging from an era long before the rise of the Imperium, chaos, or even the Necrons and Old Ones. But that's just a theory. If true, their continued existence could mean that they are remnants of some primal force, a will or instinct that has survived unbroken through untold millennia. More horrifying still is the possibility that the Reptons are aligned to something far greater, and something entirely outside the scope of human or Xenos understanding. If they are pawns, they may serve a power older and darker than the warp itself, a force that exists beyond the veil of reality as it is known. Their silence, their hostility, and their cryptic broadcasts could all be fragments of an alien so incomprehensible to the galaxy that it has no words, no concepts, and no way to define it. To some, this thought is worse than any chaos incursion, for it suggests that the galaxy is not merely a battleground for gods and mortals, but a mere stage upon which something infinitely more ancient and different and terrifying may one day descend from. In the end, it is not what the Reptons do that is most horrifying, it is what they might represent. A force so utterly beyond human or Xenos reckoning or understanding that even chaos pales into comparison. They are not just enemies, they are questions that the galaxy cannot answer. Shadows of something deeper, darker, and more terrifying than anything the Imperium has ever faced yet.
Thank you, and may the Emperor's light guide our every step, ensuring victory against the darkness that threatens humanity's future.